Hello there. Right, it's Philip at Somerset Plants here again. It's 1st of July today. We've just snuck into the polytunnel because even though it's the end of a very hot, sultry day, it's actually quite windy now, and it makes the microphone on the camera buzz. Anyway, just quickly, I understand a few people are suffering with problems of how to get here. I've drawn this very helpful map which shows that us at Low Ham are located roughly centrally between Bridgewater, Taunton, Yeovil and Glastonbury. It's very easy really to get here. Find your way to Langport, leave Langport heading towards Somerton on the B3153. Just as you leave Langport, there's a sign for High Ham to the left hand side. Follow that road and you come down a long straight, and at the end of the long straight there's a sort of road that goes straight on. You follow the road round the corner, there's a sign for the rifle range, and you can either turn right at that sign or go on until you find another little lane with our sign in the hedge. Sat nav things just take you all around the country. We're 2 turns from the main road at Langport. Very easy to find. Alternatively, look at the Somerset Plants website, and on the Visit Us page there's a map. You actually click on the map and it'll open up to a Google map and be much more useful. Second thing I've got to mention, after my last email newsletter there was a deal of confusion. People seemed to think we were having some sale or something or another. The fact of the matter is that our price for our 2 litre perennials, this is a 2 litre Rudbeckia here. See the size of the pot versus the size of my hand. It's a good sized plant in a reasonable sized pot, which is the standard size for perennials. That is £3.50, and virtually all of the perennials that we have are £3.50 in a 2 litre pot. There's an example of a Gaillardia there, £3.50 in a 2 litre pot, including VAT. Very sensible price. Garden centre sort of price, you'd be looking at anything between, well, £6 and £8. So there you go. But you have to come here. On the website they will be more expensive because we have to put things in boxes. Just out of interest, this is quite interesting. This is a liner, a plant that we're holding back before we pot up, of this very same Rudbeckia. This has been in the polytunnel, this has been outside, and look how that's come into flower like that. Look, isn't it absolutely glorious? And there's two other Rudbeckias here as well, which have got these glorious flowers. Anyway, so that was just a quick one. There's 1 or 2 other little clips of video around the polytunnels and out in the nursery at the moment. We've just got lots and lots of plants. Not all of them are on the website. There's a lot of stuff here that we haven't put on the website because we just haven't had time. So what I'm really saying is, come and see us. Oh, isn't that lovely? Also, I forgot to mention that we are in the Somerset Specialist Nursery list and the Somerset Specialist Plants Nursery Guide from the Plant Heritage people. So they've obviously vetted us and have printed us in here, and we're on their websites. So you can look them up at their whatever it is, and see that we do exist for real. Thank you. Right, just going on a little bit. I would love to grow thousands and thousands of trees, but very few people know that we're here as yet, so we're just taking it slowly. But we have got several really very nice birch. I was struggling, I was nearly going to say beech then, but birch. This is the Betula pendula, which is the normal silver birch. They don't go silver until they're a bit older. But we've got quite a few larger trees that we're just sorting out at the moment. We're potting them up into either 15 or 25 litre pots. And the sort of price that we're going to be charging for these in the autumn, because you don't really want to plant them until the autumn. The number of times I have to politely and gently say to people, no, you really don't want to plant that now. Planted in the autumn. These would be going out of here for about 25 quid. Now if you're local and you live somewhere in the Somerset area, if you want a couple or several, we can deliver them, but we do have to charge a bit to deliver, obviously. Extremely good value trees this autumn. And then as far as the rest of the nursery goes at the moment, we've got lots and lots and lots of perennials which are just coming into their own. We've already had quite a run on the perennials, and rather frantically potting things up and sticking things in pots as fast as we can. But if you are after things like penstemons, they're in full flower now. We've got lots of gaillardias, digitalis or foxgloves, all kinds of things. Quite a lot of things that are here are not actually shown on the website. We just haven't had time to keep everything up to date. Put it in perspective, I was out here at 5:30 this morning trying to catch up with the watering, and before I know where it is, it's 7:30 at night and time to fall asleep on the sofa. It's very difficult to keep everything up to date. But there. So we'll just have a quick look around the other side of the nursery over at the polytunnels. Okie dokie. Right, we are hopefully going to specialise in hibiscus as time goes by. The only hibiscus that are worth growing, unless you're really keen, are the hardy ones which will grow outside. The only reason we keep them in the polytunnel is because they come out into leaf very much quicker and they grow a lot faster. It's not because they need the protection from the polytunnel. They're perfectly hardy plants. But this is an example of one that we just had come in from Nick Rees at Jack Dawes Field Nursery in Sussex, who does a bit of propagation for us. This is a variety called Marina, which is a rather fetching blue flower, absolutely delightful. Tell me when you have finished looking at the flower. Right, and then there's another one I potted up yesterday, which is called Hammerbow, which has a rather interesting segmented pink and mauvey flower, quite interesting. But these are only quite small plants, they're only 2 litre pot, and we're not in any particular hurry to sell them, so that's why they're not on the website. All they're going to do is just grow, and we'll probably pot them up and try to make them into a nicer shape for next year or what have you. And then there are a lot of trees here that I'm just waiting for a load of compost to come tomorrow. We use Roffey's compost, which is an exceptionally good material. These are all desperate to be potted up. These are Indian bean trees. We're going to put these into a big 25 litre pot, like this one here. Now, I hate to think what you would pay if you went to a garden centre for a 25 litre Indian bean tree. I mean, somebody told me the other day that they are over 100 quid. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but we'd be quite happy at about 30. So that's an example of the sort of thing that we do. And then further down here, obviously needs a stake by the way, further down here, come with me honey, batteries in your wheelchair are a bit flat, are they, Loz? Right, further down here we've got one or two things. These are Paulonia, or the foxglove tree, which when they're young they're extremely brittle and very, they'll take damage very easily. So that's why they're carefully being kept in here until the stems manage to harden off, and by the autumn they'll be a much more woody plant, and next spring they'll be alright to plant out. Again, it's not because they're not hardy, it's just because they need some protection when they're young. And then there's a selection of cuttings sitting here. There's lots and lots of things that we're allowed to propagate. believe it or not, there are still lots and lots of things that have plant breeders' rights on them, quite rightly so, but you know, we tend to not grow things that have plant breeders' rights because, well, it's just easier not to. Then we've got lots and lots and lots of different sorts of fruiting prunus, things like apricots, and this particular one here is a plum. That's yellow Pershore. What I want to do this autumn is to take some cuttings from these, because I'm convinced that you get better trees growing them on their own roots. So I'm going to avidly set about taking lots of cuttings this autumn and see if we can get them to work. So that's pretty much that for this one, really. So here we are, we've got quite a lot of hosta plugs, and the next batch of lavenders. Each one of those trays is something like 98 plugs or 96 plugs. So there's a blunt end of 800 lavender plugs there waiting to be potted up. This is Imperial Gem, which is a real cracker, lovely lavender, and the other one is Hidcot, which is always a popular plant. And to be perfectly honest, the cheapest and quickest way of us producing these is to just buy them in as plugs, pot them up into 9cm pots, and then pot them up into 2 litre. The hostas, it's a shame we've had to buy you know, large quantities, but that's the way it goes. It's the only way we can get hold of them, really. And then the rest of the plants that are in here are all things that we've propagated ourselves, that we use as spares, and pot them up into 2 litre pots for sale. Quite a lot of them will have to prune back shortly, and they'll have to sit around till next spring, but it's getting to that sort of time of year. So there we go, that's early July 2015. Speak to you again before long.